Thank you for listening. This course was created to help you succeed in your educational journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional podcasts, books, newsletters, and cool merchandise await. Let's get started. The purpose of a responsible AI roadmap is to provide structured guidance for organizations that want to move beyond high-level principles and into consistent, actionable practice. Many companies acknowledge the importance of fairness, transparency, and accountability, but struggle with how to operationalize those ideals across diverse projects and teams. A roadmap offers a way to translate values into specific steps, aligning responsibilities across functions while establishing a foundation for resilience. It also helps organizations plan for progression, recognizing that maturity in responsible AI is not achieved all at once, but through steady development over time. By setting milestones and clarifying expectations, a roadmap ensures that progress can be measured, communicated, and sustained. In doing so, it serves as both a navigational tool and a signal of organizational commitment to responsible innovation. The maturity model concept lies at the core of most roadmaps. Rather than expecting perfection from the outset, organizations can progress through early, intermediate, and advanced stages. Early stages might focus on drafting baseline policies and identifying high-risk projects, while intermediate stages expand governance systems and adopt standardized practices. Advanced maturity involves integration with enterprise-wide governance and proactive engagement with regulators and external stakeholders. Benchmarking against industry peers provides valuable context, showing where an organization stands and where improvement is needed. Importantly, the maturity model reinforces the idea of continuous improvement. Responsible AI is not a one-time achievement, but an iterative journey that requires adaptation to new risks, new regulations, and new technologies. Initial steps are often the hardest, yet they set the trajectory for the entire roadmap. Establishing clear organizational values creates the ethical foundation for governance practices. Drafting baseline policies ensures consistency across teams, even when AI initiatives are still relatively small. Identifying high-risk projects for early review helps organizations focus their limited resources where the stakes are greatest, whether that means healthcare, financial services, or public sector applications. Assigning accountability roles is another early priority, ensuring that responsibility is not diffused across the organization, but held by specific individuals or teams. These steps may seem modest, but they establish credibility and momentum. By laying this groundwork, organizations position themselves to expand responsibly as AI adoption grows. As the roadmap progresses, building blocks provide the core capabilities of responsible AI governance. Data governance and transparency practices ensure that training datasets are well curated, documented, and accessible for review. Bias measurement and mitigation tools bring rigor to fairness efforts, transforming abstract concerns into testable outcomes. Human oversight processes guarantee that accountability remains with people, rather than being ceded to algorithms. Incident response systems provide structured ways to identify, escalate, and resolve issues when they arise, reinforcing resilience. Together, these building blocks transform principles into operational capacity. They are not one-time tools, but ongoing practices that must be embedded into every stage of the AI lifecycle. Organizations that develop these building blocks build confidence with both internal teams and external stakeholders. Scaling practices expand responsible AI beyond pilot efforts into enterprise-wide systems. Centralizing documentation ensures consistency, making audits and oversight more efficient. Expanding fairness and safety evaluations to more projects broadens the reach of governance. Formalizing management systems, such as responsible AI committees or ethics boards, creates accountability at an institutional level. Training cross-functional staff extends awareness and capability across technical, legal, and business domains. Scaling is not just about doing more, it is about doing better with discipline and consistency. When practices are scaled effectively, they move from being exceptions handled by specialists to becoming shared organizational routines. This stage marks the transition from experimentation to institutionalization, where responsibility is embedded into the organization's identity. Integration with enterprise governance is the next major milestone. Responsible AI cannot be siloed from broader risk management, cybersecurity, or compliance frameworks. Integrating with these existing systems ensures consistency and avoids duplication. Alignment with environmental, social, and governance reporting requirements situates AI responsibility within broader sustainability commitments. Embedding AI oversight into enterprise accountability structures ensures that boards and senior leadership are actively engaged, rather than leaving governance to technical teams alone. Integration elevates responsible AI from a specialized concern to a core component of organizational governance. It signals to regulators, investors, and the public that responsibility is not peripheral but central to how the organization manages technology and risk. Regulatory readiness is a critical stage in the responsible AI roadmap. Organizations must map their obligations across jurisdictions, recognizing that laws governing AI vary significantly from region to region. Establishing audit-ready documentation ensures that evidence of compliance is available when regulators or external reviewers demand it. Monitoring evolving AI-specific laws, such as the European Union AI Act or emerging national frameworks, allows organizations to adapt before enforcement becomes mandatory. Proactive compliance programs are more effective than reactive ones, reducing legal risk while signaling credibility to regulators and stakeholders. Regulatory readiness is not just about avoiding penalties, it is about positioning the organization as a responsible actor in an increasingly scrutinized landscape. By building compliance into the roadmap early, companies ensure smoother scaling and fewer disruptions as external requirements evolve. Metrics for roadmap progress provide a way to measure whether initiatives are making a meaningful difference. Tracking fairness, bias, and robustness indicators shows whether technical safeguards are improving outcomes. Monitoring incident frequency and resolution time provides insight into resilience, revealing whether systems are being managed responsibly when problems arise. Stakeholder trust and engagement, measured through surveys, feedback loops, or external reputation, reflect how well the organization's efforts are perceived. Benchmarking against external standards provides a point of comparison, identifying areas of strength and weakness relative to peers. These metrics make progress visible, transforming the roadmap from an abstract plan into a tangible journey. They also help leaders allocate resources strategically, focusing attention where the organization is falling short. Cross-functional alignment is essential for sustaining momentum. Responsible AI cannot be the domain of one team. It requires collaboration across legal, compliance, engineering, HR, product development, and leadership. Governance boards can provide oversight, ensuring alignment across departments and resolving conflicts. Encouraging integration of technical and ethical views strengthens decision-making, allowing issues to be examined from multiple perspectives. Sharing responsibility broadly helps embed a culture of accountability, preventing responsible AI from being treated as an external mandate. Cross-functional alignment also ensures that governance is practical rather than theoretical, as policies are shaped with input from those who must implement them. Without this alignment, roadmaps risk becoming paper exercises rather than operational guides. Stakeholder engagement ensures that responsible AI extends beyond organizational walls. Involving communities and system design helps surface concerns that internal teams might miss, particularly around fairness and accessibility. Seeking external input from regulators, civil society, or academic experts enhances accountability and transparency. Providing clear reporting to stakeholders reinforces openness, signaling that organizations are willing to be held accountable. Engagement is not just about communication. It is about building trust through genuine dialogue. When stakeholders see that their perspectives shape decision-making, they are more likely to accept and support AI adoption. Stakeholder engagement transforms governance from an inward-facing exercise into a shared process that builds legitimacy. Organizational training programs are a practical requirement for embedding the roadmap into daily life. Staff must be educated in responsible AI principles with training tailored to their specific roles. Engineers may need resources for bias testing or robustness evaluation, while compliance officers require knowledge of emerging regulations. Encouraging continuous professional development ensures that knowledge evolves with technology and law. Integrating training with roadmap milestones keeps programs aligned with broader goals, ensuring that learning supports measurable progress. Training builds not only competence, but also confidence, equipping employees to apply responsible AI principles in practice. Without it, roadmaps remain aspirational documents, disconnected from the people expected to implement them. Risk-based prioritization ensures that limited resources are applied where they matter most. High-stakes systems, such as those in healthcare, finance, or public services, must receive rigorous oversight. Lower-risk applications can be managed with lighter-touch processes, preventing governance from becoming a bottleneck. Documenting the rationale for prioritization adds transparency, showing regulators and stakeholders how decisions are made. Aligning prioritization with regulatory expectations strengthens credibility, ensuring that oversight matches external standards as well as internal values. Risk-based approaches make the roadmap sustainable, balancing ambition with practicality. They also help organizations avoid spreading resources too thin, focusing instead on areas where responsible AI makes the greatest difference. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Tools play a vital role in supporting the responsible AI roadmap by turning policies into actionable practices. Governance dashboards allow leaders to track progress across multiple initiatives, providing visibility into metrics such as fairness testing, incident reports, and audit readiness. Automated monitoring pipelines reduce the burden on staff by continuously checking for compliance, anomalies, or bias drift. Fairness and bias testing toolkits give technical teams practical methods for evaluating models at scale. Lifecycle documentation platforms centralize records, ensuring that evidence of oversight is consistent, accessible, and audit-ready. These tools do not replace governance, but they make it manageable, scalable, and transparent. By investing in the right tools, organizations give their roadmap both structure and momentum, ensuring that principles are translated into measurable action. Change management alignment ensures that culture and the roadmap reinforce each other rather than pulling in different directions. Leadership must drive adoption not just through mandates, but by creating incentives that reward responsible behavior. Transparent communication keeps staff engaged, helping them understand the purpose of roadmap milestones and how they connect to broader values. Engaging staff in the process through workshops, pilots, or consultations builds ownership and reduces resistance. Embedding resilience into processes ensures that responsible AI practices continue even during organizational shifts, such as leadership transitions or market pressures. Without change management, roadmaps risk remaining technical frameworks disconnected from people. With it, they become living guides that sustain cultural transformation alongside governance structures. The global perspective adds another layer of complexity and opportunity. Roadmaps must be adapted to the regulatory environments of different regions, reflecting variations in privacy laws, AI regulations, and cultural expectations. Harmonization across international standards, such as those emerging from the EU, OECD, or ISO, helps multinational organizations avoid fragmentation. Adaptation is equally important. A global roadmap must allow for local flexibility, ensuring that practices resonate with local values and legal requirements. Over time, convergence across jurisdictions is anticipated, but until then, organizations must navigate a patchwork of obligations. Viewing roadmaps through a global lens helps companies balance consistency with adaptability, creating governance that works across borders while maintaining credibility with local stakeholders. Scalability of the roadmap ensures that progress is sustainable as adoption widens. Starting small with pilots in high-risk areas allows organizations to test governance structures without overwhelming resources. Expanding incrementally across teams builds confidence and creates opportunities for refinement. Balancing ambition with practicality ensures that milestones are realistic, preventing burnout or disillusionment. Adapting milestones to organizational capacity helps ensure that progress continues steadily, even if slower than initially hoped. Scalability recognizes that responsible AI is not a one-size-fits-all process, but a tailored journey that must grow alongside organizational maturity. Roadmaps that scale effectively can evolve from isolated pilots into enterprise-wide frameworks without losing coherence or focus. Sustainability and integration with environmental, social, and governance (ESG) programs strengthen the long-term resilience of roadmaps. Responsible AI does not stand alone. It intersects with broader commitments to sustainability and corporate responsibility. Aligning roadmap goals with ESG frameworks ensures that fairness, transparency, and accountability are reported alongside environmental and social metrics. Including environmental and social accountability in AI governance recognizes that technologies affect not only users but also broader communities and ecosystems. Reporting progress in ESG disclosures provides stakeholders with visibility and reinforces trust. Linking roadmaps to sustainability programs situates responsible AI within the larger context of organizational resilience, ensuring it remains a long-term priority. Future trends suggest that AI roadmaps will become a standard expectation across industries. Regulators are increasingly likely to require governance plans as a condition for deploying high-risk systems. Certification schemes may develop, giving organizations formal recognition for implementing robust roadmaps. Integration with certification and audit programs will create external validation, reinforcing credibility. Broader adoption across sectors will normalize the practice, making responsible AI roadmaps as common as cybersecurity frameworks or risk management systems. These trends show that roadmaps are not just transitional tools but enduring structures, shaping how AI is governed over the long term. Organizations that adopt them early will not only meet future requirements but also establish themselves as leaders in trustworthy innovation. Practical takeaways make clear how roadmaps transform responsible AI from principle into practice. First, they provide structure, ensuring that organizations follow a clear sequence of steps rather than acting piecemeal. Second, maturity is achieved through staged progression, allowing teams to start small and build capacity over time. Third, tools, training, and governance mechanisms are the enablers that give the roadmap practical traction. Finally, accountability sustains resilience, ensuring that commitments are not forgotten as priorities shift. These takeaways emphasize that a roadmap is not simply a document but a living framework. When implemented thoughtfully, it builds trust, strengthens compliance, and positions organizations to thrive in a rapidly evolving AI landscape. The forward outlook suggests that roadmaps will soon be expected not only by regulators, but also by customers, investors, and partners. Anticipated regulations in multiple regions are likely to mandate formal governance plans for AI, particularly in high-stakes domains. Industry benchmarks will shape adoption as organizations look to peers for models of good practice. Roadmaps will expand to cover multimodal systems that integrate text, images, and other data types, reflecting the growing complexity of AI applications. Global governance alignment will further drive adoption, with harmonized frameworks reducing fragmentation. In this outlook, roadmaps move from being pioneering tools to baseline expectations, marking a shift toward universal accountability in AI governance. The key points of this episode can be distilled into 4 themes. First, roadmaps provide organizations with a structured journey toward responsible AI maturity. Second, integration with governance and culture is essential. Roadmaps succeed only when tied to broader organizational systems. Third, metrics, training, and stakeholder engagement sustain progress, ensuring responsibility is visible and measurable. Finally, scalability and adaptability are critical, allowing organizations to expand roadmaps without overwhelming resources. These points underline that roadmaps are not static checklists, but dynamic systems for embedding responsibility. They offer a way to balance ambition with practicality, enabling organizations to innovate while safeguarding fairness, transparency, and accountability. Organizational value is one of the strongest arguments for adopting responsible AI roadmaps. They build trust with regulators, demonstrating that governance is proactive rather than reactive. They strengthen resilience by identifying and mitigating risks before they escalate. They support sustainable growth, enabling organizations to scale AI initiatives without sacrificing safety or ethics. Perhaps most importantly, roadmaps embed responsibility into culture, transforming it from an external requirement into an internal norm. This organizational value extends beyond compliance, shaping reputation, competitiveness, and stakeholder confidence. In this way, roadmaps serve both as protective structures and as enablers of responsible innovation. In conclusion, the Responsible AI Roadmap represents the culmination of our series. It gathers the principles of fairness, transparency, accountability, and culture, and translates them into a structured path that organizations can follow. Maturity is achieved not overnight but through staged progression, guided by governance frameworks, tools, and training. Integration with enterprise systems and alignment with regulation and sustainability reinforce resilience. Above all, the roadmap is a reminder that responsibility is continuous, requiring reflection and adaptation as technology evolves. As we close this series, the focus turns to sustaining the journey, keeping responsibility active, dynamic, and central to every stage of AI development and deployment. This is not an end, but the beginning of ongoing responsible innovation. Thanks for tuning in to Bare Metal Cyber, your trusted source for cybersecurity educational materials, news, and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.